What's up, guys? We're gonna do something that I haven't done in a minute. I'm getting my list all pulled up. Gonna kind of explain a little bit of stuff to you about what this is and all that stuff. So for those of you guys that don't know me, hi, I am the Blue Bodhi. I have multiple forms of synesthesia, and if you don't know what synesthesia is, brain damage. We'll just call it nicely. Synesthesia is what happens when two things in your brain wire themselves together. So for example, I have one type that is the most common type called chromesthesia. So chromesthesia means when I hear a sound, it is a color. So for example, the door shutting right there is this weird, interesting sound of like orange with red on top of it. I don't know how else to explain it like that. Dog barks are always a form of like green. Sometimes they border on teal or blue. Baseball bats, everybody knows the sound of a baseball bat. A wooden baseball bat is orange versus a metal baseball bat. It's red and it goes across my vision and I hate it and I always flinch. A hammer hitting a nail, same thing. I always flinch, okay? I also have a form called tactile visual, which sucks. When I tell you what it is, you're going to be like, oh, that sounds really cool. It is not. It fucking sucks. And I'm going to explain to you what it is. Then I'm going to tell you why it fucking sucks. And then I'm going to explain to you the type that I'm using tonight for this event, which is called the name frequency. Tactile visual is actually a very rare form of synesthesia. Only about 3% of people with synesthesia have it. And it is where when you touch things, you see a color. There are tons of different types of synesthesia. There are tons of different types of those types, if that makes sense. But tactile visual is when you touch something and you see something in your vision like a color. For example, some of you guys have followed me for a long time and you know that I do a lot of aura art. Yes, I can see your aura, but what I particularly use is I hold your hand, I touch you. If I'm in person with you, obviously when I'm on a thing with you, I see it. But I touch you, I hold your hand for a minute, and then I start seeing layers of color. The reason that tactile visual sounds better than it really is that this is different than just having an aversion to touching certain textures. Like if you are on the autism spectrum, this is because I hate that color. I don't want to see that color. For me, I actually physically see the color. It's not just I think of the color. I physically see the color like bifocals right here. I cannot turn it off. So let's say that I have a really intense headache, or let's say that one time at band camp, I might have tried mind-altering little things, little shroomy things, right? And it exacerbates it. Well, you can't turn it off. I can't close my eyes and turn it off. I can't say, you know what? I don't want to think about this anymore and turn it off. It is always on. So therefore, if I touch a person, let's say that I've made a new friend, right? I'm really digging this person. I think they're really cool. Like we're jiving, you know, we're talking about all the things. And then before I leave, let's say I'm like, can I hug you? And they're like, absolutely. And so I hug them. And as soon as my cheek hits theirs, color. And let's say that it's a color that I already know is associated with something that means they're not a very good person. Instant friendship ruined. I have a problem dating because I have a problem touching people. I have a problem hugging people just in general now. So a lot of times if you guys come and see me at an event and I'm not a big hugger, I might shake your hand, but huggers, I will see colors almost immediately. So just saying, it's kind of horrible. The other thing with chromesthesia is that I used to do jury consulting. I used to do jury consulting because I can tell by the color of someone's voice, what kind of person they are. I also can tell by how big or small someone's voice is, if they're lying or not. I literally can tell by the shade of your voice if you're sick. I can tell like if something has changed. It's not just oh, your voice sounds deeper. Are you okay? So for example, my dad went through chemotherapy several years ago, and most of his chemotherapy was here because he had lymphatic cancer. It completely changed the color of his voice. And so it was weird for me the first time I heard him talk, because it was like hearing someone, I recognize his voice, still my dad, but it was completely different color. His voice always used to be this gorgeous, like emeraldy green color. Now it is indigo. So like that's not just a little shift, right? That's not, you know, emerald green to hunter green. That is a massive shift. So the first time I talked to him on the phone, I got a jolt like that. So synesthesia is great sometimes and not great in other times. But what I'm using tonight to look at your names or the name of your choosing is called grapheme, Grapheme. And it is actually the most common type of synesthesia. Chromesthesia, I said, is the most common. Both those two have the same amount of people, but a lot of people on the autism spectrum have a little bit of this, and I'm going to tell you what it is. So grapheme is where letters have a color or a texture or a shape, or they have to sit in some area, but that borders into spatial synesthesia. Spatial synesthesia is where instead of letters all sitting like this, they sit up here. So for example, the number 3 always has to sit up here, higher to me. Vowels always sit higher to me than consonants do. I actually got in trouble a lot as a kid for writing my vowels higher. You know, when you had the thing in school, there's a big old line with the dots in the middle to teach you how to write uppercase and lowercase. I used to get in trouble for writing my vowels high. And it's literally because my brain was broken. But with grapheme, letters, numbers, any type of mark has a color. For example, the number 3 to me is always pink. The number 4 is always blue. A is always red. Y is always yellow. Unless, it's like I before E except after C. Unless it is a word or a name. And if it's a word or a name, then that can change the color of that word. So because of this, I have studied color theory extensively. And it's really funny. Sometimes I get treated like a sideshow with people that know that I do what I do. And so they will have me shake the hand of somebody or read them, you know, or whatever, to be like, what color were they? What color were they? I don't think reading is really the right term. It's just something that happens. I can shake your hand. I instantly get a color. So I can hear your voice, instantly get a color. So by seeing someone's voice and shaking their hand or touching them in some way, I know more about you than you probably know about yourself. And it's a little disorienting, and it also spoils everything. It spoils everything for you at one time. So what I'm going to use tonight is both my synesthesia and then also a little bit of channeling. So I am going to look at a name, no matter what it is. I can do your name. I can do a kid's name. I can do a business name that you're thinking about using, or a business name you already have. Anything at all that you would like. And then I'm going to tell you the color of your name. Okay? Not only am I going to tell you the color of your name, but I'm going to tell you anything that I instantly start associating with that name. It could be a season, could be a weather pattern like storms or rain or a hurricane or sunshine. It could be an animal. It could be, well, I said season. It could be some type of weird intuitive message. It could literally be numbers. It could be a frequency. It could be a code. So these are going to be quicker readings, okay? But you have homework with them. If you purchase a reading this evening and I'm doing this for you, you have homework with it, and I am going to expect you to look up the homework. It is not going to be for me to interpret everything for you, and I'm going to tell you why. When it comes to these things, I may see a pink owl. I don't know why the fuck I'm seeing a pink owl. Well, maybe your favorite stuffed animal as a kid was a pink owl. So to me, I would pick apart the color pink and what an owl means, right? What does pink mean and what does an owl mean? But to you, you know that's your grandma because your grandma bought you the pink owl. So I am not going to interpret any of these things for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what color or colors are associated with the name that you asked me to read. And I'm going to tell you anything else that pops up that is associated with that reading. So each one of these is only going to be 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes being the very, very longest, but it's going to be something that's going to give you insight into your path, who you are, etc. So if I'm doing a name, if I'm doing a name of a business for you, that will tell you the overall feel that I get from that name, because of the color and so on. So if I say, oh, your name is really bright orange and emerald green, it's your responsibility to go and look up what does emerald green mean and what does orange mean spiritually. Now, if I'm doing a business name for you, your responsibility, I'm going to say responsibility, your homework would be to go look up what is the marketing meaning of the color orange? What is the marketing meaning of the color green? So if you are considering opening a business or starting a YouTube account or a TikTok account or whatever, and you are considering utilizing a certain name, then I'm happy to read it for you, basically. It'll give you an idea of what the marketing is that's associated with that name, if that makes sense. I know that was a lot. This will totally be recorded and put for you on YouTube. It will probably be up by Friday. So if you miss yours, it's okay. I do already have a lot of people on my list. So let me pull my list up. Let me see how many tickets I put up for this evening. There are 33 altogether. There are 13 that are already sold. Actually more than that, because 4 of them are in the process right now. The link is on my link tree. And I'm going to tell you who my first few are, so that way you guys will know. Shannon W. Natalia has 2. T, I never can pronounce your name. Victoria M. has 2. Rose, Ashley E. Cynthia H. has 2. Jennifer A. has 1. Jesse, and then Kate. And those are my first 13. Okay, so if you didn't hear your name and you're like, no, I just got a ticket. Those are just my first. And Jesse, and then Kate. And those are my first 13. Okay, so if you didn't hear your name and you're like, no, I just got a ticket. Those are just my first. One. There we go. My sister's calling. So you can go directly as to what time you are, if that makes sense. So that being said, I did not get prepared, and I did not bring, I did not get my paper ready. So let me do that real quick. So if you guys want to go grab a ticket, you can do so. If I get through these decently quick, then I will add some more tickets. All right, so as I mentioned, and the cool thing about this is that the other reason I'm doing it the way I'm doing it is because bitches be bitches. And so this is technically a little bit of a reading, but also not. So let's say that I'm reading for Bob, and Bob is red, white, and blue. If I were to say, oh, well, red means this and blue means this and white means this, and then you're associated with an alligator and blah, blah, blah. That's not what the name Bob is associated with. I'm just letting you know. We just literally made that shit up. So don't read into that. But I don't want to tell you all these things and be like, oh, that tells me that you're doing this or you're going through this, because somebody out there is going to be like, oh, well, I hate Bob. So blah, 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 blah. This is literally just fucking synesthesia, okay? This is literally what you take out of this will resonate with you. The other reason that I am doing it, can you hear me now? I see you guys saying that you can't hear me. Tell me when you can hear me. The other reason that I'm doing this way is because how many of you guys have ever gone and got a reading, or you've pulled cards for yourself, right? You kind of know what that means, yeah? But when you read the book, you're like, shit, that's spot on. Or whenever you go and somebody says, oh, hey, just out of curiosity, have you ever looked up the god Thor, right? and you're like, oh, well, I mean, I've watched the Avengers and blah, blah, blah. But you go and look up Thor, or you start getting Thor symbolism around you and you look it up, you're going to catch something that resonates with you. So the reason that I am not going to tell you what these are is because it's not for me to interpret what they mean to you. It's for you to fall down a rabbit hole and see, oh shit, that resonates. Or I might only say, oh, well, the color white means purity. Well, it means several other things, but I felt the need to say purity. So maybe purity doesn't resonate with you. But when you go look it up and you see that it's also spiritual guidance, and then you're like, holy shit, I have had a lot of my grandma visiting in dreams or something. Do you see what I'm saying? Why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it? And my moderators are here this evening. So those of you guys that are watching live, you guys can ask some questions. My mods will try to help you as much as possible. Chances are they're going to just say, just take a listen and see, and so on. But let's start with Shannon. So I'm going to be doing her entire name. You guys can choose if you'd like just your first name, a business name, your whole name, etc. If you put your whole name on there, then I am going to do your entire name. Okay. So the name that I'm doing first is Shannon White. What's funny is Shannon is pink. And it's not normally pink. I have a stepsister named Shannon. It's not normally a pink word for me. All of those different letters have different colorings and so on. S's usually are some form of pink or red. H's are green. N's are green. O's are yellow. And A's, A's are red. So if I did it individually like that, it'd be different. But all together, they are pink. And I think the only reason it's pink is because your last name is White, and my brain automatically wants to think white, but the word white is blue. I always love talking about synesthesia stuff because I'm like, I'm crazy. Like, this sounds crazy. But the word white, W-H-I-T-E, is blue. And it's like kind of a... If you took this color right here and you made it an ethereal looking blue, so we'll say cobalt. It's cobalt. So Shannon is pink. White is a cobalt blue. And when I say pink, it is literally like Barbie pink. No, it's baby pink. Baby pink is better. So baby pink, pale pink. Pale pink, cobalt. The other thing that I instantly associate with your name is white elephants. Like white elephants with gold on their tusks. I also associate your name with emeralds. And for some reason, like back in the day with the Lisa Frank stickers, not anything in particular except the way the hearts would sit around things, like kind of cockeyed a little bit. So like the heart not straight up, but like kind of cockeyed. So pink, pale pink, cobalt, white elephants with gold on their tusks, emeralds, specifically emeralds set in silver surrounded by diamonds or white sapphires. In fact, it's a necklace of squares. Like what is that? Princess cut? Like princess cut diamonds. And then, or princess cut emeralds. And then, those Lisa Frank hearts. And the Taj Mahal. Interesting. Interesting. I have to fight not asking questions because I want to ask questions because I know what a lot of those things are associated with. So I really want to ask questions. And I'm like, that's not what you said you were going to do, bitch. It's not what I said I was going to do. I just told you what I was going to do. And now I want to be like, it's all of these things. I know what a couple of those things in particular are associated with. So I find it very interesting. But just saying. So the other thing I want to say with these is please feel free to message the website, because if you message me here on TikTok or YouTube or something like that, I may not see it because I get thousands of messages a day, especially here with the scammers and everything else. So I don't always see messages on TikTok, okay? So please message me on the website. I would love to know what it is that you find is associated or what resonated with you. I'm just saying. Okay. Please make sure that you guys are not co-reading or anything like that in here. Okay. Just saying. All right. Natalia is next. All right. So we're going to do Natalia and we're going to do Archer. So Natalia is the first of yours. I'm going to do yours first because that's what you put. The word Natalia itself is emerald green to me, like gorgeous, shiny emerald green to me. It's funny too, because there are a lot of letters in there that are not green. In fact, the only letter in your name itself that's green is the N. But it is a really gorgeous, intense. It also is in calligraphy. I always see it in calligraphy, but not just in calligraphy. It goes up, it comes down, and back around. It's crazy. Like, it has a gorgeous shape to it. Shannon just sits like this. It's, even though it's very whimsical, the stuff that her name was associated with, yours is not super whimsical. Yours gives an air of strength. And so for it to have a curve like that is really interesting. But Natalia, the name itself, gives an air of strength to me. Something like an oak tree, like a crazy ass, unrealistically tall tree. It's very grounding. The name Natalia is very grounding to me. I can't get over this. It's almost like ivy. Does that make sense? It's very earth-based to me when I think of the name Natalia. The other thing that I instantly associated with it was a boat. And not just any boat, like a little, when you see in the pictures or paintings or whatever, there'll be like a little wooden boat. So it's got like the flat back and it's like rounded in the front. And it's wooden, specifically on a lake covered in mist. It's very ethereal feeling with that whole thing. It doesn't feel like it's here in this realm. So I find it interesting that it was automatically a boat and things like that. I also want to mention really quickly, because I feel like I need to, that when I see that with the boat and when I see the mist and so on, I don't see sunshine. It's like it's overcast and it's bright, but it's overcast, if that makes sense. So a lot of strength, a lot of grounding, a lot of earth, a lot of symbolism of plants, flowers, trees, nature, etc. And then that boat specifically stands out. And then the overcast aspect of it. So, Archer, because I think this is so interesting. I know the Archer is your kiddo. The name Archer itself is red and yellow, but like the instant color that hits me is like really bright fire engine red. And then if I focus on it a minute, it starts having streaks of yellow through it like this. Archer is very straightforward. Archer itself, the name to me is all the same size, all capitals. It's all the same size and it's big. Where Natalia is like this, Archer is like this. Archer is big, bold, like what you would think of. There's a font called, what is it? Impact. That is Archer, all capitals in impact, if that makes sense. I also associate Archer with a bow and arrow, like an old school wooden bow and arrow, you know, the thing like that. And it's pointing to the left specifically. I feel like I need to say that. And then also just it's funny, fire, but the fire is only yellow, only bright canary yellow. I also associate Archer with a tiger. There's a lot of yellow. Why is it everything is yellow all of a sudden? The tiger is very muted orange and yellow and black and white. So like if you were to take the orange stripes of a tiger and put like a yellow in with it, so it's an interesting color tiger, and the tiger has golden eyes. I love how crazy I sound right now. I love how crazy I sound right now. And I also love that those two could not be more different. I love that those two could not be more different. One of the things that I love I love working with my synesthesia. I do. And the more I work with it, the stronger it gets. However, I always feel crazy as fuck. So I told my kid one time, I was standing in my kitchen and the person I was dating was standing there, and my kid called, and my kid was outside skating when she called. And everybody knows this sound. You're talking to somebody and you can hear the wind against the speaker of their cell phone. You know that sound? It hurts your ear. You're like, oh, like that. I said, baby, you got to get out of the wind. I can't handle that. So she said, well, what color is it? It is the color of fucking plaid, black and white plaid coming at my face. It's like on a conveyor belt and it comes at my face like this. I can't handle anything. There are certain things, like I talked about at the beginning of this, that a baseball bat is like an ice pick like this. Things like that scare the fuck out of me. And so, because it's just startling, right? It's not like, oh God, I'm scared of that. No, it's just startling. So the wind against the bottom of a cell phone or the speaker of a cell phone is like coming, if something were coming at your face like that was bright white and black, you would do this too. So I can't handle when somebody's outside talking in the wind. All right. Crazy town, party of Bodhi. All right. Toysy, I know I pronounced your name wrong. Maori. That's interesting because your first name is multiple colors. Like I don't see it as one color. Maybe because I'm going to assume, no, because your last name is not one color. First of all, let me say this. Your name is Shimmery. I'm going to start with your last name. Because your last name stands out to me, even though your first name is showing in multiple colors, like stripes. Your last name is this really gorgeous indigo-y purple. It shimmers from purple to indigo, but it shimmers. Have you died? Like, have you had a near-death experience? That's usually what that signifies to me. Now, I told you guys I wasn't going to read, but your first name is like these stripes, and it's orange, forest green, white, orange, forest green, and white, and they rotate. The colors rotate back and forth. So you're a chameleon. They rotate back and forth because at first it was green and then it was orange. Like it's interesting. Like it rotates back and forth like this. That tells me you're neurospicy as fuck, dude. But I love that your name also sits really fucking high. Like it's hurting my eyes. Your name sits way up here. Where like Natalia's was kind of right here in the field of my vision. Archer's was big right here, right? Shannon's sat right here. But yours is like way the fuck up here. Every letter in your name sits way up here. I gotta pull my eyes down. It actually hurt for a minute. Everything in your name is shifting. Everything in your name is shimmery. So like if you had a metallic sheen to your last name, your first name doesn't have a metallic sheen, only your last name, but both of them are shimmery. You know, like a mirage would be shimmery. They're shimmery like that. And so the next thing that I associate your name with is something very celestial, like silvers and golds that would be shining and shimmery and so on. I also associate it with stars, but not stars like when you're looking at them. It's literally like the stars that are like that, but they don't have the lines in the middle. So they're just open. So if you had a sticker outline of a star, that's what I would associate it with. But they're white. So white stars in particular. I also associate your name with an alligator, which is funny because I used that for the Bob example earlier. But I also associate your name with an alligator, but it's specifically purple. I want a purple alligator. I want a purple alligator. But your name is really interesting. The fact that it sits really high up here is interesting because most names sit right here within my field of vision. Sometimes they sit a little low, but the fact I had to look way the fuck up to see it. That also tells me, and I'm just going to say this really quick, because some people are like, what does that mean? Because I can't find anything that a name is sitting really high. It tells me that mentally, emotionally, I'm going to say mentally, your brain works on a different level than other people. So you have to kind of ground yourself down to their level, which is why people don't understand you. If I were in a jury room and I were consulting for a jury, that's exactly what I would say. I would be like, hey, that person right there is a very deep thinker. They're a high thinker, and they have to dumb down what they're saying for other people to be able to understand them. So I don't know. I would be on the fence if you were on a jury or not, because if you feel like you have to dumb down what you're saying to talk to people, if you're younger, then you're not used to dumbing down what you're saying yet. So you might not say anything. But if you're older, then you are used to dumbing down what you're saying for everybody else, so you could get your point across and you could be very persuasive. So it would also depend like on your age if I would put you on a jury or not. Very good at what I do. They're very good at what I do. Yes, I am happy to still do jury consulting if there's any attorneys out there, but please message me and we'll talk about it and so on and so forth. So yeah. So just letting you guys know, Victoria, are you here? Do I have two for you? I do. Okay. So I'm going to do two for you. Okay. So I have Victoria Moody first and then Nightshade. And well, I say first, I'm going to do Nightshade first because that one's the one that has the more intensity in the color. So we'll just say that. That one has the more intensity in the color. So I want to start there. So Nightshade is exactly how y'all think it would look. It is black that fades into purple in the middle. There is a little tint of blue here and there, almost like cat eye nails, right? So if you turn it a little bit, you see the purple, but it is black. It fades down into purple and it has some little tints of blue here and there. The term Nightshade, the name Nightshade, I also associate with the color gold. I also associate it with a specific leaf, and it doesn't have to do with any plant in particular, but it is a black leaf that has 5 points, points to it. I also associate it with a tower, with like a really tall, intense, black, like obelisk tower. I never can say that word right. I also associate it with the astral. I also associate it with Egypt, with ancient Egypt. I also associate it with the moon. That's interesting. I've actually never sat and really thought about what the color, but I've never, because Nightshade you see a lot, but I've never actually sat and thought about what all I associate it with like that. So, interesting. Interesting. All right. I hope you got all of that. These are going to go really fast. So if you guys don't get everything written down, it's okay. I will have it up on YouTube for you by the weekend, because I know every one of you is going to be like, I need that up because I didn't write everything down. So if you didn't write everything, if I already did yours and you didn't write everything down, don't stress. Okay. Yours is associated. It's so interesting. I associate Nightshade with a lot of darker colors, but very intense spiritual imagery. Does that make sense? So now I want to talk about your name, because it's a little different, but not. Moody is like this deep burgundy red color, like deep, beautiful burgundy red, more on the red side instead of the purple side of burgundy. Victoria, however, is pink, and it is legit like this color pink. So kind of a, not quite hot pink, but more of like a, I don't know if it's not magenta. It's pink. Just what you would think of pink when you say the color pink. It's pink. It is definitely not hot pink. It's definitely not baby pink. It's just pink. It also has a little bit of white in there. For some reason, the dot on the eye, only the last eye is white. It's so funny. Victoria, I associate with cherubs. I associate it with pink hearts not the Lisa Frank hearts with pink hearts. I also associate it with white horses. I also associate it with, what the fuck are those called? They're the sheep that have the super curly hair. What are those called? It's white, but the hair on the sheep is like super curly, but it's like the fluffiest thing. Like I just want to squeeze it. I don't know why. I just want to squeeze it. I associate the name Victoria with everything that is like soft and lovely, and what you would think of if you had something really sweet and loving and kind. So it's so funny that I started with your last name, which is this really deep burgundy color. And I'll tell you what I associate that with as well in just a second. But, and then your first name is absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what's funny is they flow together well. So your first name, if somebody knows what those sheep are, I want to know. The sort of mattress sheep, kind of, yeah. But big, super fluffy sheep. I also associate Victoria with sleep. Not just because of that comment, but like everything that would help you calm down and go to sleep. Does that make sense? Like the sheep that, you know, you counting sheep and so on. So let's talk about moody, what moody is associated with. It is this gorgeous, gorgeous, like deep burgundy color. Like I said, more red burgundy than purple burgundy. I also associate moody with like a river at night. Like not raging, just nice, calm, flowing. Like let me get a boat and go lay out there. I also associate moody with the full moon. And I associate moody with black bark. I know that there's a couple of trees that have really dark, like almost black colored bark. I associate it with that. I can't really see what color the leaves are. So black bark. I also associate the color moody, the name moody with mulch. You know what I mean? Like the chipped mulch. So I associate it with that. That's really it. That's really it. There's not a lot. Even though you would think moody would pull all these feels and stuff, and you would think moody, that just the term, oh, you're being moody, you would think that would pull up all these intense feels, but it doesn't. It's very like chill, very calm. Does that make sense? I can't wait for the emails to flood in about these. I'm not gonna lie. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait for what you guys find is associated with what I said. It's another reason that I don't want to interpret, because if I interpret, then I'm assigning meaning to it. I want it to resonate with you, and you may need to see what those things say. But the other thing too is I like getting your messages afterwards, and you're like, oh my God, like this is associated with this for me, and this is for this, and blah, blah, blah. So I love it. All right. Rose, and I love that you put C in there. Rose, C, and is it Baillarge? Is it large or large? Rose, C, Baillarge. So what's interesting, I feel like I'm supposed to start with the C because the C is bright yellow. It is bright yellow, and it like sticks out like this. It's super bright yellow. Rose, everybody would think would be associated with red or something like that. It is not. The name, the word rose to me is associated. It's so fun. Why does it sit down there? That's fucked up. Okay. C is right here. Like that C is like bright yellow, like bam. I would ask if you ever went by your middle name, but Rose is down here, and I don't know why. So I had to look down. I'm like, Rose is down there. Rose is to me is like it shifts back and forth between hunter green and like a brighter forest green. So it like shifts back and forth. It also sits like this. It's very pointy. Like the letter M. It's like that. I'm going to start there. I'm going to start there. And then we're going to talk about your last name because your last name's up there. But Rose is down here. So why is it so pointy? Like I've never really thought about that. thorns, maybe? I don't know. But it's pointy. I also associate the name Rose with bears. With like just bears. Not a particular bear, but just bears. You know when you see like the artwork or the little wooden bears, they're black with the brown nose, like that's the bear I saw. I also associate roses with beach balls. Or I associate the name Rose, not roses. The name Rose with a beach ball. Just the traditional red, white, yellow, blue beach ball. I also want to associate your name for some reason with like this is gonna sound really fucking crazy. With Mexican food, specifically like enchiladas and chimichangas. Nothing else but just those two. Thanks, Rose. I'm already hungry. I appreciate some bitch. I'm already hungry. But I associate it with that. Okay. I also associate it with moss. That's an interesting thing to come after enchiladas, but okay. All right, so let's talk about your last name. So your last name is two colors. The first part of your last name, the B-A-I-L, is red. The L-A-R-G-E is a pale yellow. So like, ooh, I don't know the right term for that. It's a very pale yellow. I find it interesting too that your name sits in so many different areas. So Rose sits down and to the right in my vision. C is right here in the middle. And then your last name is up here. And it kind of does this. It's curved. It kind of does that. But the fact that it's two different colors, if I look at it as all one word, it's curved. If I look at it as two different words, then it becomes straight. But the first part of your last name is red. The second part is, like I said, a pale yellow. It does start to shift to the right. So almost like your first name and then your last name all kind of shifts to the right. But the C is just dead center right here. Just bam, dead center. The other thing, too, that I associate with your last name up here is protection. Like maybe it's because of the curve. I don't know. But instantly it's like an umbrella shielding the rest of you from this. So the fact that your first name sits down here tells me you kind of feel like maybe your first name doesn't fit you because it's almost like it's trying to get out from under the protection. But I associate it up here. And when I think of it in that way, when I think of the curve, then I associate it with the color white. Even though it's red and yellow, I associate it with the color white. Also, this has nothing to do with the synesthesia, but you have somebody that's very, very loud that's trying to correct me on everything I say. Just want you to know. You have someone that is around you all the time. I think it's a lady who is trying to correct me on everything I say to you. So you might say hi to her. And the next thing that I'm going to say that I associate with your last name, I don't know what the hell these are, and it may be her that's showing this to me, but it's like a muffin, but it's not a muffin. It's not a cupcake because it doesn't have icing on it, but I don't know what these are, but it's blueberry muffins. It's blueberry muffins. Blueberry muffins. I associate with blueberry muffins. Now I want a blueberry muffin. Y'all whose names are associated with food, I don't like you right now. I don't like you right now. Because I'm already hungry. Because I didn't really get to eat a lot today. Just saying what I'm saying. Anyway. Welcome to my life. So the way that I'm describing these names, the way that I'm describing where they sit in my vision, the way that I'm describing the colors and so on and so forth, this is a daily thing. This is a daily thing. This is probably why I have headaches all the fucking time. I physically see them. They're somewhere. Like I have gotten good at tuning words out. Does that make sense? Like I've gotten good at like tuning it out. So if I focus on it, then I'm really paying attention. But if I'm listening very intently to what someone is saying, so let's say like when I do jury consulting, if I'm really looking at what someone is saying, I let my eyes drift to what I'm seeing, if that makes sense. So then I look crazy. It's great. It's kind of a superpower. But it also has sucky downsides. So yeah. So think about, yes, it is cool to see these things. Yes, it is cool to see the colors and the names. Yes, it is cool to associate, certain colors, letters, feel, touches, etc. with letters and names and numbers, but you can't turn it off. So if you're listening to an audiobook in your sleep, suddenly you have fuzzy letters in your dream. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not as great as you think it is. And then when you try to tell people, they think you're crazy. It's great. So yeah, a lot of times I don't tell people, but I will judge somebody off the name they tell me. So let's say I meet somebody and they say, "Oh yeah, my name is Fredrickson." I am going to instantly judge you off the colors of that letter, those letters, off the colors of your name, off how it sits in my vision. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Y'all, I am in the middle of doing readings and stuff. Please, please, please do not invite me to go live. I am always going to decline. People are paying me their hard-earned money, and I don't take that lightly. So please, please do not ask me to co-host anything. All right. Ashley E is next. Ashley Evans. And I'm just reading Ashley. I love it because Ashley, I'm just going to tell you right now, I've known a lot of Ashleys. The name Ashley is always red. Always red. Cherry red. Like super cherry red. I've never ever known an Ashley that was quiet. I have never ever known an Ashley that was like super calm and chill. I've never known an Ashley that wasn't intense as fuck. Ever. But Ashley is always cherry red. Always cherry red. Somebody's talking about me. My nose is itching. Ashley doesn't sit too high in my vision. It's just kind of like right here. Just kind of like right there. I also associate Ashley with spirituality. I associate Ashley with gold. I associate Ashley with kind of, what would you call it? Pearl white. Like that pearlescent white color. I also associate Ashley with jewelry. All the jewelry. Just saying. I associate the name Ashley with jewelry. And I don't know why, because Ashley's a furniture brand. But I associate it with jewelry. Specifically gold jewelry. Just saying. The other thing I associate Ashley with are two different things. Flies and dragonflies. And that's odd to associate it with a fly, but that's okay. Even a fly has a spiritual meaning. So fly and a dragonfly. I also associate your name with a straight line. Just straight line. But it's going to the left, just so you know. It's like straight line. Yeah. I saw somebody ask why I always associate Ashley with red. It's synesthesia. It's not that I want to associate the name Ashley with the color red. It's fucking brain damage. It's not funny, but it's also funny. So for those of you guys that want to know, Cynthia H is next. So Cynthia and Cindy. Oh, you got to challenge me. I just want to say that's rude as hell right there. Like, please don't call me a broad. Not cool. Not cool. I love goth broads. Well, I hate dumbasses, so there's that. Bye, Felicia. And now I can't unpin it because I muted him. Don't be disrespectful. So, for some of you guys that don't know me, that you're new to following me or whatever, I've always had a little bit of synesthesia. Whenever I was younger, I played the trumpet and I almost always had perfect pitch because I could see in my vision where the note sat. So if it was over here, I knew that it was sharp. If it was over here, I knew it was flat. If it was too high, I knew I had to bring my lips down a little bit. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I could see where the note sat. If it wasn't right here, then I knew it was wrong. And so I was very, very good with that, if that makes sense. I also always had some of the spatule where it sits in different areas. So like I said, I got in trouble as a kid because I used to write my vowels up here. Sometimes I would literally write I always is above the line. So if you have the lines here and the dots in the middle, most vowels sit right here, but I always sits up here. I got in so much trouble. I had to redo my I worksheet like 6 times. Like, I got in a lot of trouble. But I didn't understand why it had to be in the line. When I was 18, I had bacterial meningitis. Don't recommend it. Please get your kids vaccinated. I would not wish that on anybody. It is one of the most painful things. Actually, it is the most painful thing that I have ever been through. And I have had my jaw fractured in 4 places. I've been hit in the jaw with a baseball bat. I've had multiple C-sections that I'm a redhead and I could feel. So I'm just saying, meningitis, brain swelling is by far the worst pain I have ever experienced in my life. I would not wish that on anybody. Please get your kids vaccinated, please. Okay, I'm begging you. Okay, it's not fun. But because of that, I died twice. I died once in the ER. I died once in the ICU. They had to bring me back both times, and I was in a medically induced coma for a week. When I woke up, when they pulled me out of the medically induced coma, and I woke up, there was no guarantee that I was not going to have severe brain damage or that I could walk, any of those things. I consider myself beyond lucky to be able to A, walk, to B, not have, to be able to talk, I consider myself extremely lucky because there are so many people that survive meningitis that aren't as okay as I am. But I do have a lot of problems from it. I do have chronic migraines. In other words, I have a headache almost every single fucking day of my life. The days I don't have a headache, I notice those. Let's say that. I have temporal lobe epilepsy, and when they woke me up, the doctor patted my arm like this, and all I saw was green, 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 like that in my face. I tried to explain to the doctor what I was seeing. My original neurologist was fascinated with it, and then he retired. And so everybody else for the longest time told me I was crazy, that I wasn't really seeing those things, that I was crazy. And so I actually did not understand until 2020. Let that sink in. 2020, early 2020, that not everybody saw colors in music, that not everybody saw patterns and shapes in music. I was sitting at a symphony here in Tulsa with a friend of mine, and there was a Grieg piece, Grieg piece that came on, and I loved it. The colors of it were phenomenal. They were gorgeous. And I pulled out my phone and I started sketching it, and my friend is looking over and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm writing this down. I'm putting it down, sketching it so I can go home and paint it." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, the background, like there's a big red swatch across the middle. I was like, "That's the piano." I was like, "This big swatch right here, that is the cellos and the bass. The white mark on there, that is the violas, the piccolos." I said, "And the rest of it, the gray, is everything else behind it." I said, "It's just gorgeous and I want to paint it." And he said, "Do you have synesthesia?" And I thought he was telling me I had a disease, and I was like, maybe. You know, like I didn't know what that meant, right? So one of the next pieces literally looked like a chasm that had all these different fire things coming out at me. And so I wrote that down. So all these different things, I kind of drew all them on my phone, and I did paint the vast majority of them. So I didn't know that people don't see that. And then I actually felt bad. I love music. I would rather listen to music than I would watch a movie, because the problem is movies are overwhelming to me. That's probably part of the reason why I don't sit down and watch movies. I have to really, really want to, because you cannot turn synesthesia off. You also cannot learn synesthesia. You literally have to have brain damage to have synesthesia. You can't learn it. I can't teach it to you. I wish I could, but you cannot turn it off. So I can't watch movies or TV shows very easily. I love cartoons for obvious reasons, because they're bright and they're over the top, and so they match what I'm seeing with the synesthesia. But with music, it's almost always up here, and I can see this gorgeous like patterns of color and so on. I would rather watch music than a movie. Movies are overwhelming to me because I have to pay attention to the movie, to the plot line, to what's happening, and to the words, and then try to tune out the other stuff. So it sucks, right? It sucks. So I love that. There's a lady local that has taste synesthesia. Yes, that is a form of synesthesia. I don't really have that at all. I'm kind of glad. But I will say there are a lot of things that I don't touch. There are letters that I hate, individual letters that I hate. I don't want to. Like I don't like the letter R. I like writing it, but I don't like the letter R. It just texture-wise, I don't want to. It's weird. So I have a problem sometimes. But anyway, I'm gonna explain some of the synesthesia and some stuff about me during this entire thing, so that way you guys can know, and that way you'll hang out and watch some more. But Cynthia is next. So I have Cynthia and Cindy, and I did see you ask, or you say that your mom always felt like Cynthia fit you, but you never liked it. I am gonna say that probably neither one fits you. Just because that's just my personal opinion, because I'm going to tell you what I see with both of them, and because I've read for you forever, I don't think either one fits you. So the name Cynthia itself, why does it sit way down there? It's so funny. One of my best friends through high school, her name is Cynthia, but she goes by Cindy. She's the one I always want to spell your name like her name. Your Cynthia sits way down here. Like I actually have to look down like that to see it. It sits way down there. Let me say this. Cynthia is a base. Cynthia is like the floor. Does that make sense? Cynthia is like a formal tile in a room. The name Cynthia is white and blue. And it's elongated like this. So like instead of seeing it like this, I'm seeing it like this, and it's stretched out. So it's down here like this, and I'm seeing it stretched out on the floor like that, like formally. And it also goes in almost a triangle, like a wedge. It doesn't sit just normally. It goes out like that. But it's white and blue. I associate it with flowers. I associate it with China patterns, like the blue and white China patterns, but with flowers. Not anything with people or anything like that. It's like flowers. So porcelain, I associate it with porcelain. I associate it with something very expensive. I associate it with like luxury. I can't get over the fact that it's a wedge. That's crazy. I've never paid attention really before that it's a wedge. I also associate it with the heart. Like love, like the heart. And the heart, the physical heart, the heart muscle. I also associate it with jade elephants. So the name, I can't keep staring at it. Like, it's really cool. So the name Cindy sits right here. And the name Cindy, it doesn't have a crazy curve to it. It just has a little bit of a curve to it like this. But I see it like right here. The name Cindy is green, like grass green. If I look at the C by itself, it's yellow. If I look at the Y by itself, it's yellow. Actually, I is yellow too. But it's like grass green. Beautiful grass green. I associate it with clouds. I associate it with the word lofty. I don't know why. I associate it with the word lofty, like floating. I associate it with floating. I also associate it with chain link, like or not chain link, but like a necklace, like a chain. Does that make sense? I associate it with a chain. Now, not to be mistaken for chains, but just chain. I also associate it with marble, like the stone marble. I associate it with an announcement, like a banner, like an announcement, right? Like, ah. So it's funny too, because if you look at those two fit together, if you look at Cynthia and then Cindy, so like when I'm looking at it, because you've got Cynthia and Cindy. So if I look at that sentence right there, if I take out the and, because the and ruins it. If I look at Cynthia and Cindy, it's like Cynthia, Cindy. So I now understand why everybody named Cynthia likes Cindy better. Because Cindy is like up here. Cindy is more outgoing, where Cynthia is more formal. And not just because it's the formal version of Cindy, but it's formal in the way like a luxury car would be formal, a tuxedo would be formal, really expensive Moroccan porcelain tile would be formal. Does that make sense? I will say that it's very dualistic. Not just because it's the formal version of one, or the more common version of one, but it's very it speaks a lot to duality, to two sides of things. But what's funny is I say that, and then you're like, oh well, it's because it's the formal version of Cindy. Victoria and Vicky don't do that. Victoria gives one feel, Vicky gives another feel, and they don't match together. So like I don't see the name Victoria and the name Vicky as being two sides of the same thing. I don't see it that way. That makes sense to me? Probably didn't. All right, let's see here. Jennifer A. You're welcome. My alarm hasn't gone back off, so that's good. Sweet. I snarfed a little bit of food before I came in here. So, there's that. All right. Jennifer. So I will say this, even though like Shannon's a common name, Jennifer's a common name, Cindy's a common name, while the color and how it looks might be the same for every name like that, the things I associate with it are not going to be. The things that I associate with it, so like if I were to say the name Fred, makes me think of, I'm literally going to tell you, the name Fred makes me think of a red barn, but that's not a good example because every Fred, I've known a few Freds, I associate them with the red barn, and I don't know why. But let's say that I say that this name A is a very common name, and I associate it with a cat, and I associate it with a cow. Just because it's that name doesn't mean I associate it with a cat and a cow. If I do it for you, it might be different because I'm channeling what I associate it with. So just letting you guys know. All right, Jennifer. I do want to say this. I know you didn't ask me to read your last name, but your last name is red. It's red, fades to orange, fades to yellow. But it's very, very bright red. Jennifer sits up here. And Jennifer is this really pretty, like, I'm going to try to explain this the best. Teal at the same time. And green, I mean more of a, we're going to say emerald. So if you were to take emerald green and make it translucent, and then you were to take like turquoise, like a darker teal turquoise, and make it translucent and put them on top of each other. So they go like this. Like this. They go like this, back and forth. And make it translucent and put them on top of each other. So they go like this. Like this. They go like this, back and forth. So sometimes it's more of a teal turquoise and sometimes it's more of a green. I will also say this has nothing to do with your reading, but every single Jennifer I've ever known, no matter what you think of them, they are able to switch back and forth between being very analytical and being very like outgoing. Every Jennifer I've ever known is like that. Does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out what to call this thing. It's like a bright blue ball that is also shaped like a gem, like a dime, like a, you know, the multifaceted gem. And it's like sapphire blue, but it's literally a bouncy ball. I associate Jennifer with a bouncy ball. And then also it is cobalt blue like a sapphire, or sapphire blue. And it's not like a sapphire. I also associate this with sunshine. Bright summer sunshine. I also associate it with the color red. I also associate it with a speedboat, like a white speedboat on the ocean. It's like fun. I associate Jennifer with fun. We'll just say that. I associate it with fun, with summer, with fun. It's so funny as I'm talking about. Okay, so I keep having to do this. Like, all right, it's going like that, but the speedboat's going that way, but your name is going that way. So I'm like, oh, okay, or maybe it's just making it feel like that. I don't know. That's so funny. I want to say this too, because I don't really get anything else with the name Jennifer, but I want to say that everything that I associate with Jennifer, whether it's the color or whether it's the things that I saw, they're very bold. They're very like dynamic. Whether it's the things that I saw, they're very bold. They're very like dynamic feeling. They're not muted at all, if that makes sense. But yeah, I associate all of that with just fun, having fun. So I don't know what that means to you, but that's what I associate that with. But like I said, I know you didn't ask me to read your last name, but that's one. It's so funny whenever. So Jennifer's one of my mods, and so anytime I see your name come up in the chat or anything like that, I see your last name first because of the color. I see your last name first. You're welcome. So you can tell your hubby that his last name is red. Red, the orange to yellow. But it's only a little bit. Oh, what's your middle initial? I know there was somebody else that said that they forgot to add, their thing on there. Now, I will say this, guys. I'm not going to read, like, if you buy a ticket, I'm not going to read, like, 5 names in one. Okay, I'm just saying. M's are blue. I'll just say that. M's are blue. They are. Like, I'm pretty close to that color. They're blue. So, yeah, they're blue. M's I also associate with structure. M's I also associate with just M. I associate with structure, with architecture, with lines, grids, like very short lines. There's no like that. I also associate M. M is more ground. I don't know how to explain it. You know, in the movies when you see somebody that's like going into the internet or into the matrix and it's like black with the blue lines, the blue, purple, turquoise lines going everywhere. I associate it with that. I associate it, yeah, with that. Like literally that whole imagery right there. Like black with all the crazy blue, purple, and turquoise lines. So I also associate M with the 80s, with the neons of the 80s, but only the more cooler colors of the 80s, if that makes... I'm going to quit saying if that makes sense, because none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. So, welcome to my brain. Welcome to my life. That's fucking crazy, yeah. All right, Jesse Marcheski is next. So, I'm glad you guys are humoring me. I'm so glad you guys are humoring me. All right, Jesse Marcheski. So the last name Marcheski is yellow. Like sunshine yellow. Lemon yellow, sunshine yellow. Yeah, it's more warm. So sunshine yellow. Jesse is interesting because if it's Jesse by itself, just Jesse, it's red. If it is Jesse Marcheski, then it is like, what's the right term? What's the right color? It's pink, but it's a specific shade of pink. It's very, very pale pink. I'm looking to see if I have anything that color. Like it's very, almost like this, almost like that, like a very, very pale shade of pink. Very pale. But if it's just Jesse by itself, then it's red. Marcheski is yellow. So I find it interesting that Jesse with Marcheski is very, very pale pink. I get kind of fascinated with it because I get kind of fascinated with it. Like it's so pale pink. Actually, I would say maybe like a dusty, like a rose, dusty. You know the color when you look at like dusty rose, or you see a color called dusty rose? It is very pale, almost white. It's just weird, fascinating to think about. Like that is so weird. It's so weird. Okay. I associate you with like extremes. Like I'm catching myself doing this, like trying to figure out. I associate your name with extremes. The other thing I associate your name with is grounding. I associate your name with the desert. I associate your name with, so like if you were to be in the desert or see a photo or a painting of, you know, a desert path and there's the scrub brush and the tall cactuses, that's what I associate it with. So peace. For it to be extremes, but peace at the same time. Okay, whatever. Associate with bow ties. With a bow tie. I also associate it with a bowl. And like a 60s Corvette. Told y'all you're going to have a lot of homework. You get one of these, you're going to have a lot of homework. Just saying. Kate is next. Kate, I didn't get a chance to answer your email back today, but I will in the morning. Kate is next. So what's funny is Kate I associate with two colors instantaneously. I associate it with hot pink, and I associate it with what is it? Maroon. I was gonna say it's a really deep, almost like gothic, like blood red. What is it? Maroon. I was gonna say it's a really deep, almost like gothic, like blood red color. Associate it with like two colors simultaneously. Associate Kate with is part of me wants to associate it with royalty because of that, but no. I associate Kate with, what's the right word? Upper society. We'll say it that way. I associate Kate, the name Kate, with upper society. I also associate Kate with an umbrella, specifically blue and white, like the big like beach umbrellas that are like blue and white paneled. I associate it with that. I associate Kate with a lifeguard stand. I associate Kate with I associate Kate with a lifeguard stand. I associate Kate with I associate Kate with a forest. Okay. I also associate Kate with, what is it? The Hamsa? Is that it? Specifically a blue one. Okay. Yeah, when I get to you, I've seen you say that on there. When I get to you, just tell me what your first name is. Let me say that. Oh, what? You should have said, "Hey, this is Kate." All right. Yeah. So that was your first name. So your last name is Green. Like forest green. Your last name sits to the right. Whereas Kate's like right here, your last name sits to the right. So it's like, do you not like your last name? I feel like your last name and your first name don't go together. But your last name sits over here. But yeah, it's like forest green, and it's all one shade. Whereas your first name is like two colors. That is all one shade and sits over there. Is it Henschel? Am I saying it right? Henschel? My brain wants to pronounce the SCH really deeply. Henschel. I associate that name in particular with calm, with aloofness, with quiet. I associate it with wood, especially like wood planks. Everything I associate with that name is very structured, if that makes sense. It was just me, buddy. It was just me. What's the matter? You okay? Hey, your dog is at the door whining for you. Out of nowhere. Sorry, that was weird. He doesn't whine at the door. He doesn't whine at the door. Okay, so everything I associate with your last name is very structured. It's very, formal is not the right word. It's like the energy that, I'm going to describe an archetype of a gentleman, and every one of you is going to know someone like this. So what I associate it with is like somebody who's very serious, who's very calm, who's very measured, who you go to with every single problem because they have one simple little like, instantaneous answer. I associate with wisdom. I associate it with wisdom. There you go. I associate it with wisdom. But somebody that's very structured and somebody that is very measured in their approaches to things. I can see why you like it. I can see why you like it. Because I asked if you don't like it, and you said, no, I really do like it. I associate it with wisdom. Associate it with wisdom. Does that make sense? I love that you guys are enjoying this. I really wasn't sure. So we'll definitely have to do this again. You never liked your first name? Really? I like the name Kate. I love the name Kate. I really do. I really do. I love the name Kate. All right. Kristen Jensen is next. I got to keep myself rolling. Otherwise, yeah. Kristen Jensen is next. It's so funny. So here's how synesthesia works. Okay. If I look at Kristen, okay. Kristen, the name Kristen is this really gorgeous shade of like metallic cherry red. Okay. Like bright cherry red, like you would see on a Corvette, right? Jensen is simultaneously yellow and green. Actually, let me not lie to you. Jensen is yellow for a girl, but green for a boy. That's why. Okay. I was like, because then I was thinking of Jensen Ackles. I was like, wait a minute, his name is green. So yellow for a girl. Why is it okay? I've never thought about that. Interesting. Okay. But if I put both of those together, it's not red and yellow. It is like, we're going to say, I don't know if this is even a term, indigo green. You know the beetle shells that are like that really gorgeous green color, and when you move them, they have kind of like a blue sheen to it, I guess. So they're like indigo green when those two are together. But if it's just Kristen, it's like crazy fire engine metallic or cherry metallic red. So that's how synesthesia works. It's there's no rhyme or reason. But my brain goes, whoa, now it's this. Because if you were to put that and yellow together, it is not going to make like an indigo green color. It's going to, yeah, like a Christmas beetle. Yeah. So, I have earrings of them. I love that color so much. I associate your name as a whole with depth, with like really deep ocean. I associate it with philosophy. I associate it with higher learning. I associate it with seriousness. I associate it with malachite. I also associate it with like money. I associate it with like a lockbox in a room with green carpet. Okay. But if I look at your name separate, if I look at Kristen, so whereas the name together is like calm and seriousness and so on. But if I look at just Kristen, that's action, and it's action, and it's sports cars, and it's go, 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 go. So it's so funny that separate, it's so different, but together it's okay. Okay. I'm also going to say this. As I'm looking at your name, I also associate it with, I can't remember which tarot card it is. If it's the three, I think it's the Three of Swords, but the heart with the three swords in the middle. Why you needed to know that, I don't know. Oh, I feel like I just hit the jackpot. I get to do Bronwyn. I love your name so much. You have no idea. I feel like I just hit the jackpot. At the risk of sounding creepy, I have so wanted to tell you what color your name is for so long. I'm so excited. Okay, so I get to do Bronwyn and Moss Magic Alchemy. I'm doing Bronwyn first just because I'm excited about it. Okay, so Bronwyn, wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this. It's so exciting. Bronwyn, first of all, I associate it with mahogany. But it is this really gorgeous, like deep, intense. Let's start on the outside. It's black and it fades into like this really gorgeous, intense red, but not bright red, like a blood red color in the middle. I don't know how to explain it. So it's black and it goes down into this deep red. Like it is the coolest fucking shit. But I associate it with mahogany. So I automatically associate it with like mahogany obsidian. But I associate it with like the underworld. Does that make sense? I associate it with the underworld, and not in an evil way or a bad way, but like that really cool mystical way. I associate it with walking a path, like this black path surrounded by stars. I associate it with the cosmos. I associate it with like all of these crazy, intense, deep spiritual things. So like, I love that I got to read your name. I fucking love that I got to read your name. It's very straightforward. It is very, very straightforward. There's no middle ground with it. Like there's no wishy-washy. There's no, like if I were to look at Brawn and Win, of course it would look a little different, but Bronwyn together, it's just strength, absolute strength. So one of the things I will say without reading, okay, one of the things I will say is that you guys will notice a common theme with some of the spiritual meanings of the things I'm saying that I associate with your name. And then you can take a look at that and see what kind of, magic you might be good at. I'm just saying. All right, so let's look at your business name. Bronwyn's so straightforward and easy. I love it. Plus, I was so excited when I just saw you on my list. I was like, oh no, I get to read her name. Don't be a dumbass. Don't be a creep. Okay. Moss Magic Alchemy is interesting because it fades from moss. And sometimes synesthesia is interesting because it will be more associative. Okay. So the word moss is really like, not lime green. What would it be? Like green yellow. Okay. So that really bright, beautiful green, like you would think of with the lighter colors of moss. So almost like this color, right? And then it has a forest green, like a deep forest green. So in yours, Moss Magic Alchemy, it's like that really pale green yellow, and then forest green, like deep forest green, and then a really dusty, deep royal purple. So it goes like that. Alchemy, I will say the word alchemy to me is always that color. Magic is not that color. So I find it interesting that Moss Magic Alchemy together kind of fades like that. But because normally the word magic to me is like indigo blue. So I think it's interesting that it fades like that. And it's really funny too, because when I look at it all together, it fades, it like fades into each other. So I would say that I love that name, especially for you with your first name, because it elicits like a very grounded feel. It elicits a very magical, a very spiritual feel. It elicits exactly what you want. It elicits exactly what you want for a brand, especially with witchy stuff. I will say that I would not associate it with, and I know I haven't said what I wouldn't associate certain things with, but this. I wouldn't associate it with white or baby pink or, you know, the cherub in the sky with the golden banner. I wouldn't associate it with that. I would associate it with earth energy, with earth magic, with deep, with dirt. You know, some of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been in a forest, a really, really thick forest that, it's either rained that morning or it's still moist and you can smell the dirt. It's like the best fucking smell. It's intoxicating. That's what I associate it with, is like that really grounding feeling. So I absolutely love those three together. I love those three together. So that pale green, that gorgeous pale green, a really deep, intense forest green, and then like that just dusty indigo purple color. I love it. I love it. Does that make sense, Braun? I will say that your first name, I know that you're from Australia, but I will say that your first name I associate with Thor's hammer. Not sure why, but I associate your first name with Thor's hammer, specifically like the pendant that people wear in silver, not gold or black or anything like that, but in silver. Just saying. Some of you guys are starting to see why I go down the rabbit hole with stuff, and some of you guys are starting to see why when I'm talking I shift gears from, 9 different shades. It's hard. Welcome. You're welcome. I hope that that was something that was on your radar. The last thing I said that I associate with your name. Would you guys like me to do these again? Like what I associate with your name is going to be different. But colors. Just saying. Okay. I'll do them again in a couple weeks. I got to give myself a break because here's what sucks when I do these, it does make my eyes hurt. I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you were to stare at a screen for like 17 hours straight. It hurts. It hurts after a while. So I will go to bed tonight like this. To make it even better, Jennifer sent me something that I got in my P.O. box today. That's an eye pillow. So I love it. I will be using it tonight. I'm so glad that I went and got it today. You wouldn't have put Thor with your name? Making sure my dog's not underneath me. There we go. Well, so whenever I'm giving you what I associate with your name, I'm giving you like what I pull in, right? So that's kind of the channeled aspect, the channeled read part of it. The colors are one thing. Colors are one thing. And I saw somebody say like, we get in comfies. I saw somebody say like, if somebody has a common name, is it always the same? I don't want to say yes. Is it the same most of the time? Yes. Like Jennifer's are always green. They are. Sometimes they shift to blue. Sometimes they shift to purple. But Jennifer, the name Jennifer is always green. It's always been green. Always been green. So, all right. Jill is next. Are you ready, Jill? Jill Todd. I was supposed to be writing all these down, and I did not. And it is what it is. It is what it is. I've got it up here. I don't know why I was worried about writing them down. I knew I was going to get excited and forget anyway. So it's okay. That's okay. So Jill is next. It's so funny. Your name shifts. I associate the name Jill with like don't know the best way to explain it. Oh, well, it's probably the reason I like cat eyes. So cat eye nail polish so much, because it shifts colors. So the name Jill, I associate with like several different colors at the same time. And I say associate, okay? So we'll talk about that in a minute. But the name Jill, synesthesia-wise, I don't see as one color. It is red, yellow, and blue. And it's just like this. It's not that J is red and I is yellow and the L is blue. I just see it like a swatch, right? Because J's are usually green to me. And I mean, I's are yellow, but J's are usually green to me. So I think it's funny that I see it red, yellow, and blue. But I associate it with a shifting color of like a really deep blue, hunter green, bright red, and then this almost like lemon yellow. So it's kind of funny. But it's so funny. Even though Jill, I know, is usually short for something else, when I'm just looking at your name, what I feel like I need to tell you are the following things. I associate it with like a tempest, like a really deep, intense storm right now. I associate it with chaos. I associate it with not being able to sit still. I associate it with anxiety. Not that it induces anxiety, but like for some reason, what I'm channeling, what I'm supposed to tell you is I'm associated with anxiety. I also associate it with like a coat, like a thick, heavy coat that keeps you warm, if that makes sense. Not protection, but keeps you warm. I also... The coat just keeps getting bigger. Okay. I also associate it with a bell. You know, like a bell you ring. I associate it with a bell. And the bell is brass, not any other thing like that. It's brass. I also associate it with a basketball. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, Jill, but so for those of you guys just joining, the list is closed for this evening. I will do these again in a few weeks, so just make sure that you follow me, that you kind of keep an eye on my events and so on. The other thing is these will be on YouTube for you guys to watch. I will make sure I have this one up by Friday because you guys have all really loved it. So if you pass out, I got you. The way that this works is that the name itself is synesthesia. The name itself is the colors that the synesthesia makes me associate, makes me see with everything. I need to quit saying associate when it comes to synesthesia. That makes me see with it. And then what I'm associating with it, when I'm saying, oh, I'm associating with this and this and this and this, those are things that I'm basically just channeling real quick. I'm not allowing myself to think about it too long unless I'm having to find the right word or whatever. But I'm not allowing myself to think about it too long. I'm just pulling the things really quick. So these are not interpreted readings. These are just, I'm giving you the things. You can go and look them up and fall down the rabbit hole. And I guarantee you that there's a couple people here that have already started looking their stuff up and have been like, oh my God. Like, so please feel free to send me an email, like to my website. Don't send it to TikTok or YouTube because I won't see it. There's tons of messages that come through every day. But I would love to see what it is that you found with those things. So Sam and Josh. I'm going to do Josh first because for some reason his name pops out at me like that. So Joshua is blue. It's like blue. Like what you would think of when you say the color blue. It's just solid blue. The other thing, Perez is, with him, it's yellow. With you, it's red. It's so weird. I associate, so with blue and yellow with Joshua, I associate his with, by the way, his sits to the right. His name also sits to the right. I associate his name with strength, like inner strength. I associate it with stability. I associate it with, oh, that was my, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my cat was down there and I just swung my foot and scared the living shit out of myself. I associate it with strength. I associate it with stability. I associate it with school. I associate it with learning. I associate it with mechanics. I associate it with a tan brick building. No, tan stone building. I associate it with the city, and I associate it with cars. Every single kind of car I associate with cars. And so, yeah. Samantha, however, what's really funny is the Sam, just S-A-M, is red. And your last name is red. So when I just see Sam Perez, it's like red, red. But Samantha is pink. And I mean, it's just what you think of when you say pink. It's not pale pink, but it's not dark pink. It's just pink. Samantha is pink. But I will say that Samantha is like a brighter pink than just, it's almost like it's lit. It's almost like it's lit. Samantha is like lit. Illuminated. But it's pink. So Samantha Perez is pink and red. And so yours, I associate it with practicality. I associate yours with like analysis. I almost said analytical, but it's not analysis. I associate with analysis. I associate your name with numbers. I associate your name with ticker tape. Like I associate it with ticker tape. I associate it with time cards, punch cards. Like where it has the little, it bops a little hole in it. Not the ones, not the more modern ones where it stamps the time. This is like where it punches the hole in it. I associate it with Scantron forms. What the hell? I associate it with yellow pencils, and I associate it with notebooks. I think it's funny that you understand that. Or maybe it's not funny. I don't know. I also associate you with your name with elk. And the color green. Your name isn't green, but I associate you with green. Okay, then. Okay, then. You're welcome. Karina is next. Karina Webb is next. I love, okay, so I'm doing the name Katina. Is that right? I just want to make sure that I'm not doing Karina. I don't know if Karina is here. Oh, there she is. I just want to make sure that I'm doing Katina. Okay. I'm glad I asked. So Karina. Good, because I actually really love your name. I love the way it's spelled because it is orange. It's like this really cool bright ass orange. and like no single letter in your name is orange. So I love that I love that together Krina is orange. Like intensity, it's action, it's orange. I love it. So I also want to say that I associate your name with intelligence. I associate it with clouds. I associate it with it's so weird that I associate it with intelligence and clouds, because those are like, you would think clouds are not, clouds are like, you know, out up in there, blah blah blah. I associate your name with the beach. I associate your name with a sunny day, like super bright, happy, not a cloud in the sky, even though I associate it with clouds. By the way, clouds like big white poofy clouds, not dark clouds. But like a sunny day on like some tropical lagoon beach is what I associate your name with. I also associate your name with octopi, with like an octopus. I associate specifically like a bright red one. I associate your name with starfish. I associate your name with snow. Okay, that is complete opposite of where we were going with some of that, but snow. Okay, I associate your name with mountains. All right, girl. All right, girl. Like, we just went completely left fucking field with that. Let's talk about the beach and lagoons and then snow. Like, what the hell? I'm just saying. So, yeah, I love, and I want to say this too about the synesthesia aspect of your name, and you can take this how you want to take it, but remember how I mentioned that vowels sit higher, right? So A's always sit here, I's always sit higher. The word Karina is all very level like this. Very level, like very like right here in the center of the vision. It doesn't have these up and downs. It's just like, just saying. I just felt like I should tell you that too. So yeah. So even though what I associate with it, what I channeled in with it is kind of like crazy, I find it very interesting that the vast majority of your name doesn't sit where it's supposed to in a word, but your name altogether is very like structured. If you ever come across a red octopus in the snowy mountains, let us know, Brandon. Dude, if someone were to come across a red octopus, you know, that actually could happen. That actually could happen. What if Karina goes snowboarding and runs into somebody that has like a red octopus on their coat or on their snowboard? Just saying. Or what if she goes up there and there's like a coffee truck and they have a red octopus? Just saying. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, association is crazy, and the way things are, it's about crazy. Just all right, Sasha. Sasha Harris is next. So Sasha. Sasha is pink and yellow. You see some man in a red octopus shirt and run. I mean, I'd be like, Sasha is pink and yellow. And it's funny because it's like, it goes back and forth. So it's like, well, I lied. It's not, it doesn't go back and forth. It's like pink, yellow. So it's like a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. You guys got that joke, we're friends. But it's like a piece of candy. So like if you had pink, yellow. Okay. I associate your name with the mall. I'm just saying, I associate your name with the mall. I also associate your name with cupcakes, and I associate your name with Hostess snowballs. And I haven't had one of those in forever, and now I want one. So, but specifically the pink ones, not the green ones or the blue ones or anything else they ever have the color changes. So I associate your name with marbles. I associate your name with plants. I associate your name with quartz. And like, what are I know y'all have seen these. They're like the signs that they're the arrows, the yellow arrows, and they go boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 like the traffic signs, but it's specifically like yellow arrows. I associate your name with authority. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. I don't think there's really a word for it, but it's like I associate your name with a very structured road. So, you know, like in a construction zone or something where you have to go this way, to go this way, to go this way. It's very structured. So interpretively, not that I was going to interpret anybody's anything, but interpretively, I would say that it tells me that right now you're going through a transition and you're under construction. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right. I don't like to eat on live streams. My sugar is doing the downward dog, and it's fixing to go off again. I'm looking at it right now. And it's dumb. So give me a minute for a break. I'm so glad you understood that. Benjamin is next. And I love that you let me ask you, is Benjamin here? Benjamin Stagner, are you here? Because I would like to know which one you'd like me to read. Which one would you like me to read? Or do I get to pick? Because if I get to pick, I'm going to be selfish. And I'm going to pick my favorite one. Or maybe you would just like to know which one is my favorite one. Me pick? If I pick, I'm going to pick Benny. I don't know why, but I love the name Benny. I've always loved the name Benny. So we're going to read Benny. I like the name Benjamin too. Don't think I don't. In fact, I've always really liked the name Benjamin. But I've always loved the name Benny. So Benny, well, I'll just say this. Benjamin as a whole word is red. Benny is green, like super bright green. So Benny is green. It's what's funny is it shifts back and forth between the B being huge and then the B being like even with the rest of the words. But I also see the name Benny. The B is always like capital, and the other ones are always like this. Even though the N's are capital, and yeah, so the consonants are capital, but the E I feel like always needs to be lowercase and the Y always needs to be down. Okay. Y's usually sit lower than everything anyway. I'm just saying. But Benny is green. Benny also sits here and then kind of does that. So when I say Benny, as I'm saying the word Benny, it drops. So it's interesting. And maybe that's why I've always liked it, because it moves. It moves. So if you have Benny and then it drops as after I say it, if that makes sense. When you write your name, your Y is always like that. That's so funny. That's so funny. It always has to be like that. You can't have a long tail on the Y. It just has to be like that. Like very, Benny is very antique. It's very old fashioned. These are the things I'm associating with it. It's also very stormy night. It's Benny is a lantern. Benny is like a watcher. Benny is protective. Benny is, I associate Benny with a bucket. Okay. I love when I'm just channeling and I'm like a bucket. Okay, bucket. I also associate Benny with a torch. I associate Benny with like pulling somebody like that. Does that make sense? Like, you know, if you were to like yank somebody out of harm's way real quick, I associate it with that. I associate Benny with a lot of night themes. Not mad. I also associate Benny with like the biggest, fluffiest bed. The biggest, fluffiest. I want to curl up like I'm 5 in this bed, kind of bed. But it has a white comforter. Wooden headboard, dark, deep wooden headboard, wooden footboard, and a big, huge, white, fluffy comforter. Also, there's a stuffed dog. Not on the bed, but there's a stuffed dog. It's like pale blue, like baby blue. And it's got the long fur that's like string. So like almost like if somebody crocheted this for you, but it's got like longer fur. Now I want to touch it. I can almost feel it. I don't know if the stuffed animal made sense. I just want to say this, and maybe this is crazy. I don't know. Why do I feel like you miss your grandma? Like you miss an older lady. You're missing an older lady that's not here anymore. Okay. There's that. I'm so glad that so many of you guys are like, oh, now I want to touch that. Oh, you kind of have been? Okay. Thank you, Sam. Okay. Do you recognize the bed? Just out of curiosity. The dark headboard. Like a dark oak headboard. I feel like I should ask. If you don't, it's okay. But I feel like I should ask. Oh, really? It's a lot like the one you have right now? Okay. I don't know why, but I feel like I should do this. To you. I don't know why. I also feel like Grandma's a jokester. So I don't know if you understand that gesture or not, but I felt like I should do that. I also feel like, whether it's with me or somebody else, I also feel like I feel like you should probably book a mediumship read with somebody and talk to her. There's a let me just kind of pause these readings a minute. I feel like there is some kind of weird barrier there that, like, you're trying to talk to her and she's trying to talk to you, but they keep hitting this like brick wall. So I'm just saying. All right. Okay, this is funny. I got to make a joke. Tracy Rivera is next. Guess what? Not only are you not the last one on my list, but I'm also like fully wound up, ready to keep going. So I'm just saying, you're stuck, Tracy. It's just funny. It's a joke because every time I have tried to, or every time lately, knock on wood, but that is broken now. Every time lately I've tried to do a read for Tracy or something, it's like right when I get to hers, something happens. So it's really funny. All right, Tracy, you ready? So your name is red and yellow. So Tracy is red and Rivera is yellow. But what's funny is, well, yeah, A's are usually kind of red. I was like, there's not really a red letter in your name, but there is. So red, but it's this very straightforward red, yellow. It's going to be a little harder for me because we just met we just had the long chatty chat the other day. So I'm just going to say the first things that come to my mind and go from there because I don't want to read into it. So that, God, it is just bright red and yellow. You're going to laugh so hard. The very first thing that just came into my mind was a corn dog. And then Christmas tree, but no ornaments. Just like if you were a kid and you cut out the Christmas tree like that, like a paper Christmas tree. Corn dog, a paper Christmas tree, a bright red bouncy ball, kickball. That's it. Bright red kickball. A blue cartoon car. Like the old, like when you see a cartoon car that's the blue sedan and it's like very, very square like that. Dino from the Flintstones. The mushrooms that are like the very cartoony looking ones that we all associate with the Smurfs that are white and they have the big red top and the white dots. Apparently a lot of cartoon symbolism. And also the mystery machine. What the hell? Girl, go watch some cartoons. Girl, go watch some cartoons. Go watch some cartoons. The mystery machine. Also pool balls. Billiard balls. You were singing that theme song earlier. Oh my God. So did you start laughing when I said the mystery machine? Okay, that's funny as heck. That's funny as heck. Sylvie. Sylvie's next. All right, let's see here. So I have 2 for Sylvie. Sylvie and Grace. Okay, Sylvie is purple. I'm just letting you know, your name is purple. Purple, 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 purple. Sylvie is purple. I have always associated your name. It's just purple. I will say this because I know you also. I'm just going to do like I did with Tracy, and I'm just going to say the first things that pop like that. Otherwise, I'm going to associate things that I associate with you because of what we talked about in our bazillion and a half conversations. So, okay. And then I keep meaning to send you an email. So let me make myself a note real quick. Sylvie, that damn email. Big letters. There. Like, let me send you that damn email. Okay. All right. So Sylvie is purple. Just letting you know. So the crescent moon, but it's pale turquoise. Like when, and then the second thing is looking at like a full moonlight over water, where you can see the really pretty, like the reflection of the moon like that. Fish, like a huge tuna fish, like an actual tuna. Massive fishing boat, like large scale commercial fishing boat. Lobster. And that would be what, 45 degree angle. Because I just saw the black lines. I was like, what the hell? Pac-Man. And not because of the angle. It's just so weird. Like I saw the line like this first, and then it went like that, and then also like Pac-Man. Cool. Now I want to fucking go eat and play Pac-Man. Purple roses. Magenta roses. They're like that purpley pink color. You know what I'm talking about? So like magenta-y roses. Why do I see the Jesus fish? And a VW van. Orange. Okay. VW van. Oh. I saw it go pale. Where's the, Oh. I saw it go pale. Where's the, Oh, hold on. Light go down. That was so weird. My whole screen went pale. And I thought, oh, I'm fixing to get the puzzle piece. That's why I paused. No, my entire lighting on my screen just turned itself all the way down. If somebody is fucking with my shit, don't fuck with my shit. Are you ready for grace? You guys are going to laugh your ass off when I tell you what color the word grace is. It is red, like bright red. So grace, the word grace is bright red. I had an Aunt Grace as a kid, and her name was the same color as her lipstick, bright fucking red. And she definitely was she would pinch your cheeks and she would kiss you and you would have fucking red lipstick. So yeah, so the word grace is red. And because I know a little bit about what you've told me about her, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm just going to take a deep breath and then I'm just going to say the first things that come to my mind. A velvet green horse. It's facing to the right, and it is like a toy, like a statue. So it's velvet, like that, maybe crushed velvet green horse, and it's emerald, like an emerald color. A single mountain, like just a solitary mountain. Rose quartz. Skis, but I see them crossed like this, so like a logo. Something, it's round, it's purple with a white border, like a white border. apparently counterclockwise, like the motion counterclockwise. Stick pins, like the stick pins, sewing pins. You know, the ones with the bright colored balls on the end. Everybody's mom had those, but they're specifically going like this. Map of the world. And darts. And the darts are very, like, primary colors. All primary colors. Okay. Is she trying to decide something? Just yes or no? Tell her stop overthinking it. Tell her to stop overthinking it. So yeah, I'm just saying. All right. Rhonda. Rhonda is next. Rhonda Clarice Rayner. Okay. Okay. So I will say the name Rhonda is always red to me. Whereas Grace is like bright red, like fire engine-y kind of red. Rhonda is more dusty maroon red. Yeah, more of like a dusty maroon color. The only person that it's different with, Ronda Rousey, her name is bright red, but Rhonda is more of a maroon, but not quite the deep maroon, if that makes sense. Clarice is yellow. And then Rayner is interesting. It's green. Like forest green. Like forest green. It's so funny. Rhonda sits right here, like right in my vision. Like just right there. And then Clarice sits right there too, but Rayner is over here. But not like far away, it's just to the right. So you have Rhonda, then you have like Clarice. So you have those two right here like this. Like they almost overlap. And then you have Rayner over here. So like either one of those would have been a good first name for you. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Thank you, Zoe. The very first thing that I see with yours is like a big yellow ball, like a yellow bouncy ball. Almost like if you were to have a kickball that was yellow, but it's humongous. It's like this big. It is absolutely humongous. And movement, like it's moving. Also soccer, like the game soccer itself. Okay. I don't see players. I just see the ball moving on the green. And then white lines that go like this, straight out. They don't go like that. Like if you're looking, you know, at a horizon, they just are straight like this. The color blue, like almost a sky blue, but not that pale. Whales. Blue whales, excuse me. Let me. Blue whales. Chopsticks. Specifically white chopsticks. Okay. Thailand. Walnuts and bananas. Okay. Walnuts and bananas. All right then. I kind of can't wait to do these again. We might tweak it a little bit. We might tweak it a little bit next time. But Or maybe not. I've really enjoyed these. I've really, 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 really enjoyed these. And I know I'm going to have a slew of emails tomorrow, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited. All right. Michelle Baxter is next. And I'm just doing Michelle. Michelle is blue and yellow. So like the first part, M-I-C-H, is blue, and then E-L-L-E is yellow. And they're very like this. They don't fade together. They're like this, like that. And when I say yellow, like sunshine yellow, like bright sunshine yellow. And then it was a list of your favorite things. I love it. And then it's like sunshine yellow. Michelle, the very first thing I associate with you is daisies. And then white, I want to say lace, but it's like the thicker, almost crochet type lace, not just regular lace. The lake, Christmas, family, station wagon, old school with the wooden sides. A porch with 4 pillars, and they're either really dark brown or black. You know when you see all the photos of heaven and you see like the white stairway that goes up, it's like that. I see that stairway, not anything else really, but just that stairway going up. And it's going kind of like this, like to the left. Shooting stars. Specifically stars, not just one. Shooting stars. Elephants. And an ostrich. Okay. Elephants and an ostrich. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. I'm like nerdily excited. I'm already thinking about all the emails tomorrow to read with these. Already thinking about it. Tamra is next. My brain wants to pronounce your name Floorsack. Is that right? I'm probably saying it wrong. Your last name is Yellow, by the way. I just want you to know. Tamra is blue, like a really deep, not quite navy blue. But I wouldn't say cobalt either. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess it's like this. I guess it's pretty close to that. So it's funny, blue and then yellow. But if you go too dark, it's not wrong. Oh, okay, so I was actually right. Sweet! So that lets me know that my brain wasn't fucking me over. It's really funny because you have 2 letters in a row in your last name that are bright red. The Z and the A are bright red, so it's funny that it's yellow. So just beautiful, beautiful, intense blue, and then sunshine yellow. I associate you with a flag. Not any particular flag, just a flag. And it's standing straight out, right? So not like flapping, just straight out. I also associate with strength. I associate with calm. I associate with high waves, even though I just said strength and calm, with high waves. An avalanche. Mayflies. Sorry, I was like, they like this. Mayflies, they're a bug. I was like, let me just do the thing. My brain's like shorting out. So mayflies, a porch light, white roses, the color pink, street signs. And sky rises, like skyscrapers. Specifically 2. That was really kind of the gamut of back and forth there. That was kind of the gamut of back and forth there. But what's interesting is, like, I just want to say this without going into reading or anything like that with it. I feel like yours is really intense, and I feel like you have a lot of things you're planning, and I feel like there's a lot of things that you're trying to put into place. Almost like when you used to, back in the day when you played the game Perfection. I hated that game, but at the same time, that's the feel I get, except there's no timer with yours. It's that you have a timer on your own self, and you're trying to put everything in place. So it's like you're playing the game and everything has to be perfect and everything has to go into place perfect. And I'm actually not going to tell you to not do that. I agree that whatever that feeling is that you have, where everything has to be exactly in the right, perfect place, stay with that. I'm sure that a lot of people have already been telling you to just let it happen and go with the flow and don't try to stress so hard. Your gut is right in that no, there's not a timer, but everything does have to be perfect. Everything does have to be perfect with this. Whatever it is you're working towards, yes, it has to be perfect. Just saying. I don't know if you just needed encouragement or confirmation, but yes, it does have to be perfect. All right, Jules is next. Jules, I don't know if I can pronounce your last name. I'm probably going to myrtleize it. Okay, good, Tamara. All right, ready? That's so funny. It's hard for me. So, Julimar Rodriguez, is it... I'm not going to try. Cuasut. I was like, I'm not going to try. My brain knows how to say it, but I feel like my mouth is going to fuck it up. So I'm not going to try. I'm just not going to try. I'm going to chicken out. I'm going to take the chicken away, and I'm not going to say it. But I do want to say this, though. It is really interesting to me that my brain, I see your first name, and it's right there, but it literally is 2 separate words. Like, it's just 2 separate words. So Julimar is purple. But my brain at the same time also sees the word Julimar. Is it Julimar or Julimar? I pronounce it Julimar. Sorry. But the word July is green, like bright grass green. But I find it interesting that those 2 things together are purple. So I kind of see like the purple with the green right here at the same time. So like the first part of your name I see as the green and the purple simultaneously. Rodriguez is, it's red, but it's also like, I want to say orange red. Red orange. It'd be red orange because it's more red than orange. But the middle of it is black. So like right where the eye sits. It's like this little spot of like this deep black color. So almost like if you had well, no, it's not round, it's square. If you had a rectangle that was like red orange, right in the middle is like this dot of black. It also, Rodriguez sits right here. Your first name sits down here, but Rodriguez sits right here, kind of like a little bit up to the right here. Not crazy high, but just right there. And then your last name, like if I were writing your name on a piece of paper, your first name would be here. So like, let's say the line is right here. Your first name would be here. Your last name would be here. Or your middle name would, The second name you put would be right there. And your last name would be right there. It's kind of funny. Your last name is yellow. But like, see if I have the right. This color yellow. Actually, that looks a little brighter on the camera. This is like, it's almost like a see-through yellow. So this is lemon quartz. And so it's much more pale than y'all are seeing it right there, but it's almost like a see-through yellow. So your last name is a see-through, is like a yellow. It's like a really pretty vibrant yellow. So let me say the things that are associated, that I associate with your name. The very first thing I saw, it's like, if you're in the desert and there's a storm on the horizon and you can smell it in the air and you can feel it in the air, and it's coming in and you want to watch it, but at the same time, you know you should run. Like that's the very first thing I saw. You know that you should get to higher ground, but you still want to watch it. And then really intense rain. And then the desert turns into forest. There's a like salmon colored fish. I'm going to say it that way because it's just like the outline of a fish, you know, like if you were to, not the Jesus fish, but just the outline of a fish, but it's up, like the nose of it is up here, but it's a salmon color. And then there's like a yellow ball, but it sits right here. It almost looks like a disc. There's one big line that goes from the like top catty corner right down to the left, just like almost like somebody saying no to something. And then there is this really gorgeous piece of wood that I can see all of the really pretty, you know, striations and stuff in it. And then a baseball bat. We got calm for a minute and then a baseball bat. And then a deck of cards, like playing cards, like poker cards. And then poker chips. Only the red ones, the white ones, and the blue ones. So I see them in a stack. Like the red ones with the white center, the white ones, the solid white ones with the white center, and then the blue ones with the white center. So I don't know what denominations those would be. Also, there's a saint there. I want to say that it's a woman, but I can't really see in the middle of her. Just around the outside is usually what you see around like Guadalupe, or you know, the Virgin Mary. She's got that really gorgeous like light that comes out like this, but I actually feel like it's a statue. But the rays behind her are white with gold. So, I mean, maybe it is the Virgin Mary, maybe it is Guadalupe, but she definitely is like right there. I feel like she is in green, like she has a green robe over the top of her gown though, just so you know. So I don't know if that's familiar to you or who that is to you. All right. Aiden is next. Aiden Strong. So here's what's funny. Aiden is, how would you say it? So if you had bright red and then you had maroon around the outside, like a maroon border, Aiden is very structured to me. Aiden sits kind of like right here. Aiden's very, very structured. The A is always bigger than the rest of the lettering, even if the rest of the letters are capital. The Aiden. But it's red with this dark border around it. Strong is orange, but when you put them together, Aiden Strong as a name, like all one word, like if I'm looking at like there, right there, is yellow. So Aiden is that crazy two-tone red, and then Strong is orange. But what's funny is the word strong, if I were looking at the word strong in a sentence, it would be blue. So I don't know if it's just because it's next to your name that is orange. I don't know. But together they're yellow. So I find that interesting too. Okay. It's interesting to me sometimes to see some of you guys, like the very first one I did was Shannon White. And even though when you hear when you hear me say the word white, then you automatically think of the color white, right? But no, it's not white. It's purple. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. So Aiden Strong altogether is yellow, but Aiden is red with that tone on the outside. All right. Ready? Going fishing but not catching anything. Skiing. Snow skiing, not water skiing. Snow skiing. Cats. Like a ton of cats. Like a herd of cats. But it's like as far as you can see, this is just cats everywhere moving. It's so funny. It's like all the cats, but then the mouse, one lone mouse is like way up here watching them. Like herding cats. There you go. Herding cats. A bright red crystal. Not a ruby, so maybe a garnet. But it's like that big. It's like unrealistically big. Frog is brown. So brown frog. Not a toad. Frog. Brown frog. A lion that's blue. I want a blue lion now. A leopard. Like undoing something. But not all the way yet. It's like this. An old phone receiver. Like the big handset with the two big bells on the bottom where you gotta pick it up and do that. And then electricity going through wires. And then literally I see, not a sari, but like the really thick, gorgeous, like thicker, I guess it would be more like Tibetan or Asian style clothing. It's really thick, almost quilted satin, and it's blue, and it's got it's like bright, intense blue. It's got the really pretty flowers and like gold piping on it. If that makes sense. A herd of cats when you have 4 cats at home. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. I'm going to yawn one more time. Okay. Amy Lopez. So Amy J. Bard is what I'm reading. Okay. J is green. The word Amy, the name Amy, is usually red to me. So if I look at it separate, it's like red, green, purple. Bard is usually either green or purple, depending on what it is. If you're talking about Shakespeare, for some reason it's green, but Bard is purple. So when I look at your name, though, all together, I like it. Why am I yawning a lot? Why am I yawning a lot? Go to sleep, Amy. Because I slept a long time last night, and my sugar is perfect right now. All right. Ready? By the way, I find it funny that so many names got on the list really quickly that are red. Did y'all notice that? And it's not because everybody's name is red, because it's not like Brandon is green, Brett is blue, you know, so it's not just that, like, all of that. So I find it interesting that all the red people, the red named people got in there. I find it interesting. All right, but Amy is red. I've only known one Amy whose name was more of a pink color. But she had this really long, whimsical last name that started with a W that was white. So maybe the white, because her last name was like forever long. And then Amy is really short. So maybe, I don't know. Because like Amy Walker, she's in here a lot. So her first name is red, but her last name is yellow. So anyway, okay. So Amy is red, Jay is green, Bard is purple. And it's like a brighter purple. Not royal purple. Like, kind of like that right there. Not quite magenta, but like a bright purple. Okay. There we go. I was like, let me try to explain. Maybe I'm just yawning because it's a lot of channeling. All right, Amy. So the first thing I associate with you is a calendar, and then like tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and then a metronome going back and forth, and then a stringed instrument. I can't see. It's like a violin or a cello or something. I only see the neck of it, so I can't tell you how big it is. I only see the neck of it. And there are four strings. None of them are broken. I feel like I need to tell you that. None of them are broken and none of them are loose. They're all like nice and perfect. I also feel like I should tell you they don't need to be tuned either. They're all doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And then I see like bubbles, like bubbling up from something. Not a lot, not crazy, but just like boop, 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 boop. And what are those damn things? Orbeez, the little water beads. They're all clear though. I feel like I keep getting this imagery that, yes, you're on a timeline. Yes, you're running out of time. But the things that you're worried about being muddy or murky are not. Everything is really clear. It's exactly how it looks. And like maybe you keep reading stuff into whatever the situation is. The other thing, there's a little princess, and then there's a swan, and then so it's princess, swan, and then the swan has a crown on. It looks like the little Avon bottle. My grandma had a little swan Avon bottle when I was little that had a crown on it. And then a glass peacock. Green glass peacock. And then I feel like I'm supposed to ask why you're not wearing an emerald. All right. Whoever the lady is with the dark curly hair. She's not gone. She's here now. Okay. She's here now. There's a lady with darker curly hair that I saw her like turn her back to me and kind of start to walk off. So I would reach out to her, whoever that is. So yeah. Oh, I had the Blue Bodhi in my live stream. Stop it. Why did you say whoa? Just out of curiosity. Why did you say whoa? The emerald is your grandmother's. Okay. Okay. So you know exactly which one. So you know exactly which one I'm talking about then. Okay. Okay, so that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Are you going to go dig it out as soon as we get off this live stream? I like that AI just said live crystal reading session. Literally not what I'm doing, AI, but okay. Thank you. Try again. I'm glad I looked up just in time to see you say, whoa. You're scared to wear it very often. Why? I understand that though. So let me not ask why. I understand that. I have some rings of my grandmother's that I had been terrified to wear. I had one ring of hers that I understand. You don't want anything to happen to it. I had one ring of hers that I was so afraid. It's got these rows. It's like this wide, about as wide as my thumbnail, but not as long as my thumbnail. But it's this gold ring, and it's got rows of emeralds and then diamonds in it. Like, I want to say like diamond, emerald, diamond, emerald, diamond, emerald. They're like 3 rows of each. But I used to wear it a lot when I was younger, and then I quit wearing it because I was so stressed that I was going to lose a stone or damage it. And I didn't wear it for a long time, and I've recently started wearing it again. So you've probably seen me wear it. It's really, I have little fingers, and so I wear it here. Like I didn't wear some of my mom's rings for the longest time. I picked like 1 or 2, but so I do totally understand that. I do totally understand that. But apparently you should be wearing it. Apparently you should be wearing it. Just saying. I'm just saying. So. That was a lot. My brain is totally going sideways. My brain is totally going sideways right now. All right, guys. Well, that is my whole list for this evening. I am going to get off of here and go eat my dinner and probably watch some cartoons and de-brain for a minute. De-brain for a minute. I'm so glad that we did these. I really am. These were so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to all of the emails tomorrow flowing in about what everybody found in looking at what I said, or what resonated with you, or so on and so forth. So yeah, what's my favorite cartoon? I don't know. I have a ton that I absolutely love. I love Rick and Morty, but I also love Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I love Chowder, and I like the craziness, I think, of Chowder and stuff like that. I do love me some old school Scooby-Doo, like the old ones. I love She-Ra. I kind of like anything cartoon. I really do. Kind of like anything cartoon. Over the Garden Wall, I like that one. Adventure Time. Who doesn't love Adventure Time? Yeah. I kind of love all of them. There are some that I like less than others, but not really any that I'm like, I'm not watching that. I'm sure there's some out there that I just haven't come across yet. But right now, in this moment, All right, guys, I'm going to go eat my dinner and go to bed. Some of you guys I will see tomorrow in appointments. And the rest of you I will see for Reiki tomorrow evening. The fun thing we're going to be doing afterwards is called the Reiki Echo tomorrow evening. And if you guys would like to get on that list, you can do so. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Go fall down the rabbit hole. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get all the emails to see what it is that you found. So, all right. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.